You're listening to Don't Take This Personally,
a podcast about the business of creativity.
We are your hosts, wedding photographers, entrepreneurs, and friends, Cami Oliveria
And Gabe Conover. Now let's get into it.
Let's get into it. And don't take it personally, whatever we're about to say.
Yes.
Don't. Do not take this personally. Boom, boom, boom. I watch you in my room.
Wow.
Do you remember that song?
Vaguely. Yeah, hello. Do you remember that song?
What a fun start.
Well, we're going to pretend like this is a new day, even though this is the third episode we've recorded today.
Yeah.
Not wearing the same clothes.
No,
for those
we're
of you
totally
watching.
wearing something different.
Yeah, I know it looks the same, but the colors are a little different. Just look a little closer.
I mean,
don't do that. That's a little creepy.
I wear all black like most of the time. So honestly, it probably does not look any different for me.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's just a slightly different shade of black.
Yeah, every time.
Yes.
All right, review corner, yeah?
Review corner.
Let's gloat about us.
Let's gloat about us. Okay. 5 stars from Maddie B.
Ooh.
Great energy, great advice. That's the title.
Yes.
Cami and Gabe are both rock stars. And this podcast has been / continues to be such an excellent way to pick their brains. In 6 episodes. See, this is an older one. 6 episodes in. I've already picked up so much excellent information, and I'm seeing the effects on my own photography business.
Man.
Oh,
Okay. We're doing something right over here.
That's really nice. On top of excellent creative and business advice, these two are infectious with both their energy and passion.
Lots of energy over here.
Lots of energy. I've been yawning a lot. I'm trying to convince myself I have a lot of energy. They're just fun to listen to and one of my fave ways to start Tuesdays now.
Aww.
I love that.
Well, happy Tuesday to
Happy
you, Maddie B.
Tuesday. You guys, life is crazy. I just moved.
Love where your head is at right now.
I moved and it's been a crazy few months. I just haven't slept a lot and I'm just in a very low place right now.
You're OAK.
I'm OAK,
Yeah.
but my apartment's exciting. I love this. I feel inspired and excited here. But also just on top of us having the busiest fall of our lives. Things are just crazy. So I'm doing my best. I'm yawning a lot. I had a lot of coffee today, and I was still yawning, so now I'm trying a hard topo for this episode, and I'm seeing if that will get me where I need to be. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Are you doing
After this, I'm going to
okay?
go to soccer practice, Eli's soccer practice.
Oh, you're such a dad.
I am a dad.
Oh, cute.
Aw.
Oh.
Fun. And then we get to
Well,
watch my brother's kids, so we'll have 5 kids tonight.
That's the scariest sentence I've ever heard.
5 children.
Whoa, that's too many. That outnumbers you guys by double.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's pretty wild.
That's scary.
We'll just keep them in a cage,
In a
throw food in there.
Oh, perfect. They'll entertain themselves in there.
Yeah. Some wrestling.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
fun.
good stuff.
Well, we haven't talked about that. I mean, no secret. We've already blown it. We're in a marathon recording stretch today. So
Yes.
we're not just sitting down today, but in the last few we've recorded, we haven't talked about it. How's your fall going? How are you doing?
Man, I guess first I just want to say that I'm really thankful that everyone has been so accommodating with me, and my clients specifically literally have just been absolute angels.
Yeah.
And I'm very communicative, so things are a bit behind, and I've had more work than ever this last fall, and I just I just tell them, hey, it's going to be a little bit late. Everything's going to be a little bit late. And everyone has been great. Everyone has been great. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
I think that, really it's just that everyone's been feeling the effects of the last year and how everything has just been up in the air. And then I think, I also show socially that I've been very busy and people see that and they're just like, man, you just have been like nonstop. They're saying it before I even have a chance to. So that's been really comforting that like, I don't feel like I'm in this like, pit of like people like demanding that they see their photos and whatever it is. Like, everyone's been very gracious. And
I agree.
I'm at the end. Like this weekend I have 2 weddings, and then for the most part, like I'm just like kind of cruising until the end of November. And then I'm done. Like at December I have none, and I'm not shooting very much at all.
Wow.
And it's going to be wonderful.
Heck yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Yes.
Yeah, how about you?
So at the time of this recording, I'm about to go into my busiest 2 weeks of the year shooting, which is so brutal after like the few weeks I've had.
Yeah.
I have like 6 weddings in the span of less than 2 weeks. Like I have a triple next weekend. Oh God. I didn't think about that until I just said it. I have like 1 on a Wednesday and then a triple and then 2 the next week. So that's like a quadruple wedding week.
Yeah.
With a few shoots mixed in there, and shoot tomorrow and shoot Friday.
No.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going into the most brutal 2 weeks of the year. But at the time that this comes out, I'm speaking to Cammie in the future because Cammie listens to all of our episodes when they come out. So does
Gabe.
So Cammie of the future, you did it. You survived it. You're doing better. You're settled in. All your furniture has arrived.
Yay.
You're feeling rested. You've had some fun friend time.
Yeah.
You went on a fun trip. You've done all amazing things.
Good.
And you're doing great.
Yes, you are.
So that's how I'm doing.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll reconnect in a few weeks when this comes
and then
out.
November is pretty busy for me.
Okay.
But compared to October, it'll feel great. I just have like 1 a week.
Yeah.
In November.
There you go.
Which is kind of my favorite. I like having like 1 a week.
That's my favorite too.
And then I have 1 in December.
Okay.
And then I'm done.
Amazing.
So I think the final stretch is in sight. That's how I'm doing.
Okay.
I have to build a dresser today.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that.
Good stuff.
And a little bit of work, a little bit of apartment stuff. I agree with you. People are being more gracious than ever.
Yeah.
Like I feel really bad if you're one of my couples listening, because a lot of you do. I love you. I've never had to send so many texts that are like, I'm so sorry your photos are going to be 2 weeks late.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry. But, like, I can't not sleep to just stay up and edit because then I'm going to do a bad job. Like, I'm too old for that. I'm not in college anymore. We're not, like, pulling all-nighters to make deadlines, you know?
Which we shouldn't have done then either.
I know. But physically you're capable of it then in a weird way. Whereas, like, now if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm like not usable for days, you know, like I can't do anything. So, anyways, now I'm rambling because I'm tired, but that's how I'm doing. Anyways, here we are.
Into today's topic.
I never set the timer, so I'm just going to guess.
Perfect.
That's how we're doing. So timer starts now.
Yeah, so into today's topic.
That sounded a little jingly the way you said that. Into today's topic.
We are just going to start talking about the small business industry and how easy it is to take advantage of the small business industry.
Yeah.
As people who aren't in it, and then also for small businesses to take advantage of each other. And I think that this kind of comes from a place of like photographers, like,
this is a do better pep talk.
This is a do better pep talk, and like do better to small business owners, and then also to those who have small business owners as friends.
Yeah.
Pretty much like the what sparked this conversation were these like memes that are constantly going around of like, I remember the specific one that's like, photographer looking for people to do free stuff for him.
Yeah.
And like, I always think about too, like how the amount of times that I've been asked to take photos of people for free or for like a major discount is countless. And like even like family members, friends, like what people ask me to do because they think that my job is just pointing a camera at them and taking a photo and that's it. And so we just want to kind of put that into perspective a little bit of like what you're actually doing when you ask a small business owner, or when you're not investing in the way that they're asking you to invest. Like, my prices are my prices for a reason. I get paid my prices. It's not like I'm just putting it out there and like it's just a facade. Like, the pricing that's on my website is what I get paid for every single gig that I get.
Do you think people expect that that's not real?
I think partially.
I do think that too. I think people are like, oh, but you don't actually charge that. Like, it's negotiable.
Yeah.
Like, where do people get this idea?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is like we live in a new, world, a new culture right now where like small businesses are on the rise and support for small businesses are on the rise. So I think it's definitely getting better.
Yeah.
But like, especially when I just had started out a few years ago, like, when I said I was going to be a professional photographer for like my career, like the amount of people that took that seriously was not very many people. And when people hear the word, oh, you're a photographer. Okay. Yeah, sure. Like, so is my friend.
Exactly.
Everyone's a photographer.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I say like, no, like I literally make my living off of this. I own a house. Like, I'm doing fine.
I have a recent funny story about this.
Okay, please share.
I was at a bar with my friend who was visiting and we like met these two people.
Okay.
This is so funny. And they were like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm a wedding photographer. And he goes, sure you are.
No.
Just wait, though.
No.
Just wait. And then he goes, do you know my friend Brogan? Wait, let me back up. He was like, he was like, oh, sure you are. And then my friend Allison was like, no, she's like a photographer. And he goes, oh, do you know my friend Brogan? Brogan might listen to this and giggle that we're saying her name. And then my friend was like, not only does she know Brogan, she shot Brogan's wedding. And then this guy goes, oh, so you're a photographer.
Oh my God.
And it was just so funny that like that was just an example of the gut reaction of people being like,
yep.
Oh, sure you are.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that funny?
Well, I honestly I still feel a little weird every time I say it when people ask me what I do, and I'm just like, I'm a photographer, and I'm like, no, but like really, I feel like I have to justify myself, which is so dumb.
It is dumb.
It is so dumb that I feel like I have to do that, but it makes sense too because like these are the reactions that we've gotten for our entire careers.
I know. We always feel the need to prove ourselves.
Yeah. I almost feel like I have to like pull up my Instagram and be like, yeah, I'm a photographer. See?
Literally.
Which I'm like, ugh, that feels so dumb.
I know.
But it's where we are. This is where we're at, okay?
With photographers specifically. Like, I feel like I'm constantly like, okay, I know everyone says they're a photographer, but I like do this full time. I have been for 8 years. I shoot 30 to 50 weddings a year. Like, this is a thriving business for me, not just that I'm a photographer.
Ugh. Anyway, so that's kind of where all of this like kind of comes from, and like in my mind I'm always just like, I've had people ask me to do stuff for free, and I'm just like, okay, let's take a step back. So what do you do for work? And then in like I'm like having these conversations with people in my brain, they're not actually happening. What do you do for work? Oh, you're an accountant? Cool. Do my taxes for free, please.
Can I just provide? Can you provide your services for free?
Yeah,
for me?
Yeah, I'll give you a shout out on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hey, this person did my taxes.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff like that I'm just like, can you please just put yourselves in our shoes and then say, if someone came up to me and said, I'm like, I could do this with any freaking job. Like, oh, you're an interior designer? Like, cool. Can you come and design my house for free? I
liked the example you gave me of haircuts.
Yes.
When we were doing the Doing Business with Friends episode, and you were like, all right, think of like how much we charge and how many haircuts is that worth? Would anyone expect you to give them like 100 free haircuts? That's insane.
It's true. It's true. That's like haircuts for life,
For life.
Yeah.
Just because, but exposure.
Yep. So yeah, that obviously it's easy to make a case of how this like can be something like you can easily take advantage of people when you are asking for stuff like this. So I guess my biggest encouragement would be like, if you are a creative or someone that has a small business that feels like they're getting taken advantage of all the time, like the best way to kind of really share what this is like is to ask people to put themselves in your shoes with whatever their job is. Like actually be real with what their job is. Like, oh, you're a chef. Oh, you own a restaurant. Like, can you serve me dinner every evening? Can I go there? And like, can I just show up and be like, oh, I know the owner. Thanks.
What a funny
Here's
example.
A plate of food.
Poo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. Like, would you expect to go into a restaurant and be like, can you just like feed me for free? And but then I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of restaurants would give like influencer shit for free to post about it.
But that's different.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay.
You know, like that's an investment of like, hey, like, can you do this to advertise for me?
Okay, fair. Yeah.
You know,
but you would never walk in and just be like, can I just have that for free?
Yeah, I know the owner. They're my friend.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you would never do that.
Yeah,
so there's the best argument from that perspective.
That's funny.
But I also see a lot of small businesses doing it to each other. Like looking for collaborations, like looking for ways, like, hey, like people, like my studio, for example, people ask to use my studio for free all the time. And I'm like, no, like, yes, I get that you think that you could like shout me out to like all of your other business friends, but like,
Exposure,
you are literally my clients. Like,
I know.
you are who I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
So pay me my rate. Like, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I just am like, now all your friends are going to think that they can ask me to do it for free for exposure. Like, there's just, the cycle never stops.
No.
So.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it never stops. What do we do about this? I'm getting so mad hearing you talk because I'm like, this happens all the time.
It does happen all the time. And, you know, I'm definitely like guilty of it in the past, guilty of, you know, trying to look for opportunities. And of course, like, it really is up to all of us who have the small businesses to be the people who say no or say yes. And if someone reaches out to me, there are times where I'm like, yeah, actually, this sounds like a really beneficial collaboration. Like, I'm definitely interested.
How do you know?
It's up to you. Like, you know. Yeah. So here's an example.
I love rules, and there are not rules for everything when you're running a business, and that makes me crazy.
Right. Yeah.
I fucking love rules. Give me a set of rules. Tell me when I should know.
Well,
that's not how it works.
You know, it's all, yeah. So an example though would be like someone reached out and said like, hey, like, I have an idea to bring together like a big group of creative people. I need a space to do it. This is what I imagine it would look like. We'll have live music. We'll do this. People can set up little shops or like little like spaces if they like are, you know, they create things, whatever.
Whatever you're describing sounds very fun.
Right. And so they said, but I obviously don't like have a budget for this. Like, would you be willing to let me use the studio? We can pick a day that works for you. And that type of stuff. I'm like, yeah, like bringing in like a couple hundred, maybe like creative people that like literally are the target of my studio to do something like this. Like, not only is that obviously beneficial for my business, but it also just like is another way that I can give back to my own creative community. Right.
Yes.
So obviously there are examples of like collaborations that make sense.
Yeah.
But they are not common. They're rare. Like, it's not like every opportunity for collaboration is just going to be super beneficial for every party involved.
Yeah.
So I guess if you are a small business and you don't have a big budget for like a project coming up, well then I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to look for someone who is just starting out, is someone that it doesn't really care about making money right now because they're just trying to get their name out there.
Yep.
And then, I mean, if that's where your business is at, like hopefully this collaboration that you have with a smaller budget will help you have a bigger budget for like, you know, you to perfect your ideas in the future. But you can't just go into something expecting that your ideal situation will happen. Your ideal photographer, your ideal vendor, whatever it is, will be willing to work with you for free. It's stuff that we all work towards, you know?
I think it's also important to remember I think the thing that keeps coming to mind is styled shoots. Mm-hmm. And like, we need to remember that as a photographer, the only thing we're giving up is time. Yeah. So it's hard for us because we have to choose to value our time.
Yeah.
But like some of these other vendors, like florists, they have to buy things.
Yeah.
It literally costs them money. We've talked about this in a previous episode for sure. But you know, just think about that. Like when we ask people to do things for us as well, like not even just us being taken advantage of. I think photographers are constantly taking advantage of other small businesses.
Totally, yeah.
Like think of florists, like it's expensive for them to source this stuff. You know, I think of like the cake that will come to a styled shoot.
Sourcing clothing, like they have to clean their clothes when you send them back.
Yes, and I can't remember in what episode we talked about this, but like the way photographers will just like trash wedding dresses for the sake of the gram. Yeah. Like for cool photos or whatever. that literally will cost that company money to fix what you just did.
Yep.
And so I think the respect goes all ways.
Yeah.
Like if you are a photographer who feels like you're often getting taken advantage of, look in the mirror and see if you are taking advantage of other businesses ever too. And like fix that. And I think that's like good energy for you.
It is good energy for you.
Getting woo-woo again.
Woo-woo.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, and then I also think that too, if you are going to collaborate with someone, if you are in a place where you cannot afford to like really have a budget, I guess like the least you could do is just go out of your way to really figure out how you can benefit these other businesses that you're trying to collaborate with. And so like, what are things outside of like just allowing them to use your the photos they take of your product or whatever, whatever the situation is, outside of that, what else can you do for them to help push them forward? Like, how can you actually shout them out? How can you go leave like a really good review for them somewhere? Can you like, what are all like little things that you can do to push their business forward at the same time?
Yeah.
Outside of just like showing that you guys work together, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, for one, I mean, not even just what you're describing. I'm like a very generous tipper. And sometimes that has shocked people when they're like out with me and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you just left that much of a tip. But like, I just like the energy of that as being a small business owner.
Yeah, same. I totally get that.
I just think it's like good to appreciate people.
Yes. I've been really like making a point to leave reviews because I'm always asking people to leave reviews for my businesses. So like, why am I not, if I have a good experience somewhere, if it's good, it doesn't have to even be extraordinary. If I have a good experience, of course, if I have an extraordinary experience, but if I have a good experience, I should let people know, like I should be adding to that 5 stars that they're trying to go after, Yes.
Absolutely. Like
those
I
little
just
things go a long way.
Hired movers.
Yeah.
And I had an exceptional experience actually. Like it was so much easier. Like something that was really traumatic and stressful for me was made so much easier by just like how I thought I was going to have to do a lot more, but basically they just wanted me to stay out of their way. And like I just showed up to my apartment and my stuff was here.
Amazing.
It was awesome. And so, I'm sure they tell people all the time to review and they never do, but I made it a point before that day was over. I like wrote them a really nice review.
Do it when you're thinking about it.
Yes. Yeah. It was important. I would have forgot if I even waited one day, but it was just so important for me that I was like, man, this experience was stressful and they made it not stressful.
Yes.
Very important to me.
Yes. That type of stuff goes a long way. I just had
really
someone do some work on my studio and it was like the best experience I've ever had with a contractor. And at the end, he was like, hey, like I paint like exteriors and interiors of houses. That's like normally what I do. So like, if you ever need anyone, let me know. And my parents like literally out of nowhere were like, hey, like we're going to paint our house. And I was like, use this guy, use Alfonso.
Yeah,
like he was amazing.
Alfonso.
He literally went out of his way to do so much more than I had even asked. Oh. And now immediately he's making, a good chunk of money again because I just was like, I noticed and like I made a point, like I'm like, this guy was amazing. He deserves so much.
Oh, I love that.
He does.
I'm that way too. Like when you impress me, and like I admit I am easily impressed. Like I am someone, you have to try kind of hard to leave me like disappointed or bummed or whatever. Like I'm a glass half full kind of gal. I've got no poker face. Like when I'm impressed, it's like, whoo, it is easy to impress me and I get stoked. And it just like goes such a long way for me and I want to shout it from the rooftops. And I am happy to live that way because I believe that energy comes back to me.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of talk about supporting small business and then like people don't support small
That's true. That's true.
Which is why we're doing this episode.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that small business owners are passionate about because we live it every single day, and so, but even I like had to like really consciously make efforts and make points to like only purchase, for me, like my thing was like, oh, I'm only going to buy clothes that are either like, secondhand or from small businesses because I like fashion, I like clothes, so that's an easy place for me to kind of like start. Stop shopping at like places like Zara and whatever they are, like these big brands that like, they're gonna make the money that they want to make. But like if I can go out of my way to support something, and it's a little bit more difficult to like find and like see these places, but it's actually way more rewarding when your money goes towards something that like I saw this like little video of these 2 girls that have this shop and it's from their like security footage. image above, and this someone comes in and just purchases something from them, and then he leaves, and you can see both of them duck behind the counter and just start getting like really excited and giddy and like high-fiving each other. And I'm like, that's literally what it feels like.
I know, that's like
that's
small
literally
business
what
energy.
it feels like when people invest in you. It's so rewarding. So just know that like you can have the potential to give that feeling to these small business owners when you support them.
Yeah. So we're actually almost done. So let's get practical.
Okay.
How can people support small businesses? And even I think most people who listen to this do have a small business.
True.
So I think it's important that we as small business owners practice these things too, because if we don't even, how can we expect other people to?
No, it's true.
So practical ways people can support small businesses.
Easy ways.
Easy ways.
Easy ways are shout-outs.
Shout-outs. Great. Like social media.
Yeah.
If you're excited about something, share it.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Like I bought all these like clothes from this vintage store in Normal Heights in San Diego, and it's called La Loupe, and I love them.
Yeah.
I just recently started going there, and I've been there too many times already. So why wouldn't I share that I'm like obsessed with this this, you know, this little eclectic store? It's awesome.
I love it. We both love that place.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, so shout outs, reviews. For sure. Like, if you're listening, you probably already know because you have a small business. But if you don't, for some reason, we can't emphasize enough what reviews do for small businesses.
Yes.
Like, nothing is more effective than the social proof.
Yeah. Social proof.
So
good.
Reviews mean the world. Review this podcast.
Yeah, review us.
Okay, and then also, I think something we really need to touch on is something people can do for small businesses is assume prices aren't negotiable.
Yes, assume that there's a reason that they charge what they charge.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I feel like everyone's just got this like, I always like to tell people like, hey, assume positive intent. Like assume that like these people have built up enough credibility that they have, or there's like, they've put so much love and care into whatever product they're selling that there is a reason that it costs what it costs. And like, think about, you know, who are they supporting? Think about me, you know, I've got a wife and 3 kids that I'm supporting, and like, think about like what their situation is, everyone's unique situation. Everyone is trying to make a living for themselves. And so like, why would you just automatically assume that someone is charging too much?
Right.
You know? You don't know the industry like they do. You don't know, because they're in it. You're not in it. And of course, there are people that take advantage, but you can't just go around assuming that is like most people are like that. Yep. Because they're not.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a really big one. Like, if you want people to respect your prices, respect other people's prices.
Correct.
Like when I always make it a point to get photos done or whatever it is. I work with small businesses a lot. I never barter or ask for a discount because I know what it's like. And then ironically, I'm really bad at not doing that in my own business. I'm always like, I have a hard time charging what I need to, but it's like, just fucking assume that prices aren't negotiable. How else can people support small businesses?
I don't know.
Oh, did we cover it?
I think so.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Well, I think if you're going to ask for some sort of collaboration, the way, like, how you can support a small business is to really make it mutually beneficial. Like, if it's not going to be beneficial for that vendor or small business or whatever, just don't ask for a discount.
Yeah.
And exposure isn't really... I don't know if exposure counts.
No, it doesn't.
We can't pay our bills with exposure.
No,
we all get
can't.
a ton of exposure all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about this pep talk?
I feel good.
Good.
Feel great.
Oh, I feel OAK.
Well, with that said, just go out there, people, and support each other, love on each other, pay people what they're asking you to pay them, unless you can't afford it, and then just don't ask for a discount.
Yeah, and then just find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Support your friends.
Okay, bye.
Bye.